What up, Pete?
Call your.
Fellas.
Gentlemen.
What's happening? What's happening?
Fellas. What the hell is going on?
Man, the same old thing, same thing, a different day, man. What's up with you, man? What's up with you fellas?
Nothing good.
Shit, nothing good, man. That's a real dark and negative response. It's all good, Peter. We woke up this morning.
Don't rub it in.
We woke up this morning, bro. It's all good, man. It's all good, man. I know we had I was texting you last night, G, during our conversation we was having with Dante Ross.
Yeah.
You know, he started off with Def Jam early on, right? And he started off with Def Jam. He went to Tommy Boy, and then he went to Elektra, and he signed a whole bunch of really dope acts, man, that really wound up becoming really historical people, you know, in the pantheon of hip hop. And it was just really dope. And even I got some stuff out of 8 too, man, that I didn't know about, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I didn't really know about. He was talking about, you know, how he used to hang out with Premier, man, and he used to take him around to the different boroughs and stuff, and how he had got really cool with Raekwon. I didn't know he had all them records with Wu-Tang. He said, man, I don't know where them records at. We should just jam up. And I said, that'd be dope. You got to find that stuff, bro. It would be dope to hear him. He said, man, him and Ray was real cool. Ghost. He said, them was his boys. He said, man, for a minute, it's like he was hanging out with them all the time. Something else he told me, too, that tripped me out. Dante told me, man, that old dirty bastard had this infatuation with Compton. He would really be out in Compton just hanging out and walking around.
I would imagine. I would believe that's true.
I can see that.
Let me ask you something, Steele. Do you consider yourself... Do you consider yourself more a journalist or more of a personality?
Probably more of a journalist, dog. It was never my aspiration to be no type of personality. You know, I didn't really want to do this stuff at first, G. I kind of started doing it because I had other stuff I was doing. You know, I had Steele Spotlight and stuff. I consider myself more of a journalist, though, for sure. I think a personality is one of those things. I think journalists, I think as a personality, you got to be willing to kind of sell yourself out a little bit. And I'm not willing to do that stuff. I don't want to just be on no clown stuff, you know? You know, you got, especially in this area, I think you have to be willing to do certain things.
You don't think you've shown a willingness to do some of these things?
No, I think me, dog, it's certain stuff that I like that I, you know, practice, but no, it's certain stuff I'm not going to do, bro. It's certain things I'm not going to do.
Like what? Give me an example.
Give you an example, like, man, I ain't gonna never jump out the window. I'm never gonna do the fake beef stuff. Like, I'm not gonna start a fake beef with you just to, you know, get something going on. You know, it's a lot of that going on. It's a lot of that going on now. And I've actually been propositioned with that, like, man, you know what? We should start a beef. I'm gonna diss you and you diss me back. That stuff is so corny to me. Somebody get hurt that way, you know? I don't play like that, bro. If I'm beef, I'm a beef for real.
So that one specific facet you feel is what separates journalism from
you know what, bro? I think when that's all you do, like, I think the perfect example of that, man, is Charlemagne is still very much a journalist, right? But he's entertaining. And I think as the years that went by, you've kind of seen him evolve. You've seen the evolution of him. I'm really trying to I'm really trying to make a transition, man, to becoming the best journalist I could be, especially in the area when it comes to hip hop, because I have a knowledge, man. I got a certain knowledge base, and I have a lot of access to history, and I've actually lived through a lot of really historical things, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, getting to see Exhibit when he first started was fresh, dog. Seeing him and cats like Razcast in the studio, you know, forming a friendship with the late Chino XL, dog. It's a lot of stories that I have to tell. I still ain't told a lot of my stories yet, you know?
Mm.
And that's really what I want to do. Like, I was just looking at some stuff. The thing that's dope, we used to really take pictures when we went out on the road, dog. We would take pictures and, you know, had the camcorder. So I got like a whole bunch of them little bitty tapes, man, the little beta tapes with a whole bunch of real dope stuff with like DJ Quick, Mossberg, High C, Sugar Free, like stuff that's real early on. And I'm gonna get that stuff together and get it transferred to where I could just put that stuff out digitally. A lot of stuff with Big Psych too. I miss Big Psych every day, man. That was a really good friend of mine, man. I got to go around the world with that dude. He was just a good person, man. I would say more than anything, and more than any other person, Psych was kind of like my big brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Psych was just a cool dude, man. He was a real genuine cat. Like, he was a dude that kind of like how me and your relationship is. He was just always there for me. We was there for each other, you know?
No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour, Glass House, Glasses Low, all that. My brother Pete, my big brother Steele. Steele is actually here on time. So we're gonna get this thing.
And I've been here on time all this week. Y'all go, so y'all got to leave the past in the past.
It's only the second day.
Man, Pete, you've been late though. You've been late for the second day.
No, I was here right exactly at 3 o'clock.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. You need to get some glasses still so you can stop squinting. DJ Cadillac, Mr. Green, Revenge, Whiteout. Whiteout, what's happening? Absol said he is cool with J. Cole and the verse was never changed from the original recording. Again, this is such
like stay on this stuff.
I think that there was a misunderstanding in what Glasses was saying. I think he said he changed
the story. It's the story of my life, bro. And again, this is why it's important to be responsible with what you say. And I thought I did an incredible job of expressing my issue with that. But again, I find myself explaining this again.
I asked specifically if it was what the lab was, if it was even the same song, because I was under the impression that they did a verse and he put his verse on the same song after their verse and they were done and gone. And it wasn't even the same song. It was the same project, same EP, different song. Correct?
So I'm going to say this. Daylight expressed to me what happened, right? Daylight expressed to me what happened. He said they sent him the song and they didn't send it back. Now, again, them is really my homeboys. Like, they not just some rappers I know. Them is dudes that I've rooted for, coming up, all of the above. You know what I mean? They like family. You feel me? So, again, it's important that I be straightforward. Daylight is somebody I know. He's from my town. I knew Daylight when I first started. I seen Daylight around before we started. The issue is not if fucking Pie, excuse my language, YouTube. The issue is not if Pie is dissing Kendrick Lamar. I said, hypothetically speaking, even if the song is or isn't, the issue is, my issue is his morality stance. Like, he's a moral, upstanding guy. To put Ab Soul on a project where he's dissing somebody within the clique, he know it can be taken out of context. So again, for me to have to say this 1 million times when you just holding on to one thing that I said is just asinine. Like, go back and look at the clip and you'll see I said, I am not quite sure if he dissed him on the song Pie. The issue would be specifically him putting Ab Soul on a song that could be taken as a diss, right? On another project where he's dissing Kendrick Lamar. That means he's a fucking scum of the earth person. If I have a beef with somebody and I put somebody on the project to cause confusion amongst their clique, that's a problem. So when Daylight or when J. Cole or when Punch is saying what they're saying, they're not addressing what I'm saying. They're addressing the fact that they heard the song and they're saying the lyrics were down before the beef happened. It doesn't change the fact that none of them are talking about the fact that he put Ab Soul next to a song where he's dissing Kendrick. It's not that deep. It's really simple. If you don't think that's scummy, then you don't understand what being scummy is about. That's the point. Shout out to Squishy. Shout out to Name Brand. Shout out to Natasha. Shout out to Gulf Coast. What's happening? We up in here.
I think
Brand,
we
what's
should just leave
happening?
that subject
See,
alone, bro.
It's not even the subject I'm worried about leaving alone. It's just like you find yourself expressing the same thing you said to people in general. And I don't know if it's a connection specifically to cuz, you feel me, that that people are desperate to have. It's okay if you like a scummy nigga, but this is the problem. Like, it's okay to say J. Cole is not the moral high ground of anything. That's it. That's the point. It wasn't about none of that shit. So I don't know how do we end up back into this same place again, where it's
Man, we
pretty
here to talk
simple.
about 90s hip hop today. The 90s.
I mean, we could talk about that for sure. That's not a question. But, you know, this is not just about, you know, a bunch of bull.
Man, let the homie Twan Mac in.
Mac, what's happening?
Yes.
What's up, brothers?
What up, bro?
What's up, brothers?
How are
Chilling?
you?
I had to
What's
pull up.
happening?
Y'all talking my language right now.
Yeah. So
They're talking my language.
No Daylight was shout out to Whiteout. No Daylight was not born with that stupid ass spine tattoo. I remember when he got that tattoo. Daylight, when I first met Daylight, bro, Daylight is only from like 3 minutes from where I'm from. You know what I mean? So I seen Daylight in passing. When I seen Daylight as a rapper, he was a part of a clique with the rapper from the West Coast named AV. They had a clique called Label Me Crack Rated. And Daylight was battling back then. He's always been a battle rapper. It was always a reverence around his name with battling. Way before any song or mixtape I ever put out, Daylight was already something. Another thing about Daylight people don't know is Daylight is ridiculously talented. Daylight shot the video for Who Kid Woody Hit Yo Ricky. He shot that. He directed the video for a video that's out of watch that probably has 10 to 20 million views. He directed the video and filmed it himself. Daylight is like an incredible talent. Same for Ab Soul. Ab Soul's grandfather, right? Or, you know, still talk about it all the time, owned VIP in Carson. Like, these are not just some people that I know.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
not just
These are
that.
people that I really know to some degree.
7th
If I
Street
can
educated.
elaborate, if I can elaborate a little bit on that, Cletus actually had the first, Cletus Anderson, that's Absol's grandfather. He actually had the first record label, an independent record label too on the West Coast, and he had the only black-owned One Stop at one time in the country. For those that don't know, a One Stop is kind of like a sub-distributor where they sell independent record stores product.
Yeah.
Educate me on what
really
VIP is, though, please.
VIP
VIP is a
don't
record
know.
store.
It's
Okay.
probably the most important record store, independent
Wow.
record store, and at least in the ghetto for sure.
That would be the record store. The Long Beach was the one where Snoop was
Snoop
standing on
was
the roof
top of the roof of it.
in the first video back in the day.
Kelvin Anderson owned the Long Beach and VIP.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And
Okay.
so the VIP we went to when I was growing up was in Compton and Watts. So
he's a
VIP was
staple.
like, yeah, like his grandfather was like one of those people, you know, you heard, you know, who he was, you know what I mean? And obviously everybody know who Kelvin is, you know what I mean? The one Snoop was standing on top for the East Siders video. So VIP is like the ghetto's record store for all of us. I don't have a grip of history. I just remember it being around my whole life.
Yeah.
Shout out to Name Brand. He actually got it right. Saturn Records. Shout out to him.
Is that the first West Coast record label?
Yeah, it was one of them, dog. Yeah, one of the independent first.
Because Rappers Rap Disco Company, I remember, shout out to Rappers Rap Disco Company with Captain Rap and all of those dudes. They were, I was telling Twan and I was telling Twan and the homie Traptis that the first records I remember hearing rap records that were West Coast rap records were the answers to all of the stuff that was coming out in New York, and they came from Rappers Rap Disco Company. Remember Captain Rap had the song where he answered back to the Rapper's Delight. And then they had the song that they answered back to the message called Bad Times. That was done in 83, 84. Same company, Rappers Rap Disco Company. Bad Times is like the first song addressing gangbanging.
Really?
First song, and because they were talking about how things go bad when gangs get into it. It's actually produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, one of their first placements.
Crazy.
And it was produced on this label, Rappers Rap Disco Company. Same thing for Radioactive, this other song. So when you hear Snoop rap the verse to Gangsta's Party, blood, cuz, gangbanging, everybody in the party, that came from an artist on Rappers Rap Disco Company.
Wow.
That was one of his lines. And Snoop is such a dope historian. Happy to see that big cuz, but he's such a historian and people don't know it. Like he retains all of this shit. It's 15 minutes. Okay. He retains all of this stuff from hip hop. You feel me? Like, years and years, and he incorporates it into what he does. And most people don't know it. And that's why Snoop has this different type of reverence on the West. Further than just young people like me who grew up listening to him and seeing it like that, but even with like elders like my father or my mother. My father is 76. My mother, rest her soul, she would probably be, 60 something. And they love Dog because Dog is such a representation of all of their history growing up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the other record label I was saying, still Rappers Rap Disco Company.
He was around, and I'm gonna tell you, Cletus did a lot of first, man. He had DJ Bobcat when he was 14, 15 years old.
Wow.
Supplying all the mixtapes. He had him actually doing the mixtapes. He would give him $50 to go up there and do mixtapes, and that's who started Bobcat off before he went to Uncle Jam's Army.
Wow.
Shout out to the homie Whiteout. Any of y'all served in the military? I was trying to go before I became, I was already put on, but when I knew I was finna go full-fledged gangbanging, I didn't tell my father or my mother why, but I started pushing my father, to go to the military. He was so happy. And I had got myself all in the shape. I was getting out of here because it was like, I knew what was next. I knew at that point it was shootouts, dope dealing, and everything that was happening in the streets that I was already kind of starting to take place in. And I had got myself in the shape. This is a real story still. I had lost all of the weight. I was perfect. I got to the scale. I was ready to go. And my dad signed, and it was time for my mom to sign. She had just got out of prison. She was like, hell no.
God bless her soul. God bless
it didn't matter what I said to her still. Olivia was not at all going for it. And my dad was good boy was so mad, bro. He was hot. Neither one knew why I was trying to go. They just knew that he trying to go to the military. They don't realize I was already selling a bunch of crack. I had already got my first, I already started selling Sherm. I'd already gotten to a shootout twice. They don't know what's happening. They just we trying to go to the military. I was trying to run. I was you know what? This is for free. I can go fight for money. You feel me? They'll pay me.
A lot of people, you know what? And it's funny how a lot of people discourage their kids from going to the military. I always thought that if done correctly, the military is a good option when you don't have that many other options going on.
And
I've known people that go in the military and do some pretty good careers.
I had an incredible strategy. I was okay, because remember, I only started selling dope in the first place to get some lunch money when my mom went to the feds and just to pay for school. So I had already realized, okay, my life, this is crazy. Imagine a 17-year-old kid knowing this. I'm my life is off track. I knew it was off track. I knew I didn't have enough money. My grades kind of slowed up, so I didn't think I was going to get a scholarship. I needed to pay for Azusa Pacific to be a pharmacist. I'm okay, if I go to the 17 still, if I go to the service, they will pay for me to go to school and they'll finance the loan when I buy a house. Huh?
You really wanted to be a pharmacist, didn't you?
That was my dream since 9.
That'd have been funny, man. I wonder if you would have been, because you like to argue with people, you probably got court-martialed.
I wouldn't have argued with look, for sure, I don't like to argue with people. And this is what you were saying earlier. I don't like to argue with people. I just ask people to think. Don't just regurgitate what somebody else said to you. Think. And it comes across argumentative. Today, I'm talking to AD in the group chat, and I'm talking about his project, Blue 89. And I'm what does that mean? What does Blue 89 mean? And he was well, I'm a Crip, so blue. And then 89 was the year I was born. I'm bro, you gotta go back into the shit and really do some more work to come up with a title, because that is not tight. It's not bad. It's just direct. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and then he just starts arguing. I'm like, bro, that's not what this is. Like, I'm not trying to debate you or you. I'm not trying to intellectually bully you. I don't try to intellectually bully Pete. Pete is intelligent and educated. He know a lot of stuff. I just want you to think. You don't be wanting to think. You just want to tell me.
No, you want to brain wrestle with people.
I don't want to do that.
G is like a brain wrestler. He's going to always question everything, and that's cool. I like that about him.
You're supposed to.
But
you came on this live stream and told me and Pete Puff was sucking his mother's titties as an adult.
I know. See, that's where you wrong.
I think he said it was his auntie's titties.
That's what the girl said.
A person that raised him.
Like you said, that's what the girl said. That's what the girl said. That's what she said. I said no such thing because I was never a witness to that.
But you passing that information is crazy.
Hey, I'm not the only one doing it. I'm not the
But you don't think I know
that's a great drug addict line. I'm not the only one doing it.
Why are we? You know, we 21 minutes in and we ain't talked about no 90s hip hop yet.
It's still gonna be there, still right there.
The 90s
we gotta address the real shit.
The show is almost over.
The show.
And we talk about we just don't misled all these people that coming here with that fake thumbnail. We talking about Ab-Soul and J. Cole. We talking about my deficiencies as far as the spread and gossip.
I have no deficiency.
And
you're not deficient at the spread of gossip. You are highly proficient at the spread of gossip.
You're not deficient. Like I can see if you were slow doing what you're doing, I would agree. But you're doing it on purpose, and that's why I said it's evil and malice.
And I don't just talk about gossip. Like, where do you get this thing that I like? God, I think it's entertaining. Honestly, I think 99% of the stuff I see is BS, and I think it's entertaining. I think it's more funny than anything else.
Okay, so if you think it's funny and entertaining, you don't like it?
No, hell yeah, I think it's funny. If I think something's funny, that means
Then don't push back on him saying you like it to then just redefine the word like.
Just to say that's all I'm on, gee, you go find a piece of content online where I'm gossiping.
Go to the last live video. It's online.
I only do that when I'm on these. I'm only do that when I'm on those ceilings. No ceilings is my place to
you only come and dump your garbage.
I don't do that shit on none of my shows.
So you would do it to me, knowing you would actually do the gossip on the platform with us when you know it drives me insane.
And I don't just do it, bro. I do it every
That's
once
why
he's the one keep bringing it up. I'm not gonna do it no more to you though, bro. I got you.
Bullshit. I see that little smirk. Look at that half smirk on his face. Everybody see
I didn't put my last video I did with that. You know I haven't released that video yet, right?
You do it to me in real, bro. Pause. You actually gossip to me in real life. In real life,
dude,
you call me
that's me and your private. Do I go on here talking about me and your private conversations?
I'm not
talking that stuff is funny.
That's what Pete is saying.
It is. It's humorous as hell. I get a lot of humor out of it. I also love watching Jerry Springer too.
Y'all doing all this going back and forth, and they made a chicken Big Mac, but y'all doing this.
I want to try
chicken Big Mac.
I heard it's horrible.
Chicken. I wonder how that tastes.
I heard it's horrible.
I would like to try.
It ain't saying nothing but a McChicken with some Thousand Island dressing on it.
And they put two patties on there.
That sound good. That sound like chicken strips.
I don't know if I mess with that, man.
I'm gonna try it once.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Only thing good at McDonald's is they pies and they French fries. Everything else
ice cream products, and sweet tea.
Oh, you know what? When the machine is working,
that's all.
That's a significant caveat.
It's never working.
Shout out
to the homie Kelvin. I tried it. It's better than a regular Big Mac. Not gonna lie.
No standard.
Might have to try it then.
Kelvin ain't gonna give us no bad information.
Gee, I'm gonna tell you while we on the subject of food. Who on here don't tried Italian ices before?
Oh Lord,
that stuff is addictive, bro. It's a place in Anaheim, bro, that got the best. That stuff is so flavorful, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The combination of I know you on your health kick now. Gee, I'm sorry.
I don't have nothing to do with health kick. I eat everything you eat. Pause.
The combination of tasty, the tangy and the sweet ratio, man, is off the hook.
They sell them in Walmart. I buy them out of the freezer in Walmart. And
I'm gonna have to try that, man.
Fire.
So again, to me, this is an obvious conversation, right? Of the 90s being the greatest era. Now, Twan is here, so I know we finna have some really good points for the 80s.
And look what shirt I got on. Do you understand?
There you go. Oh, well, forgive me. It's not going to be the 80s.
Do you understand?
That's what I'm saying. Is it really a conversation? Like, I do think the 80s did, well, I almost want to say the 80s did most of the heavy lifting, but then that's probably not true. The 90s still did.
It wasn't that many people. It wasn't that many people on the 80s, though, bro. It was a very small community.
The Rhyme Animal gave us Night of the Living Bassheads in '88. Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince boycotted the Grammys in '88. Still won the Grammy. Rakim said, "Thinking of a master plan because ain't nothing but sweat inside my hand." Like, here's a little something about a ninja like me. I never should have been let out the penitentiary. What are we talking about here?
89, right? 88, 89.
80s. I think
what
the
are we
80s,
talking about here?
I do think the 80s were an amazing time in hip hop.
Oh, it was, especially the late 80s. Like he says, incredible records. I remember sitting in front of McDonald's listening to Public Enemy's whole album when it dropped. Man, it was just incredible. I never heard anything like it.
I'm not denying that. I think the 80s is the second greatest era of hip hop. While it may be the most important era of hip hop,
definitely the most inventive. And you're right, it did lay the groundwork for the 90s.
Yeah. So, but I still think hip hop took, the urban conversation, the street urban conversation from 0 to 4. But I think the 90s took it from 5 to 20. Like, it made everybody in every home around the world have to deal with what we were going through and what was happening with us. It changed, like, it went from just impacting at a level to where it was undeniable. By the end of the 90s, bro, everybody had to change and adjust to the plight of the culture, of street urban culture. Everybody had to make everything just pivot. Life pivoted after that. You know what I'm saying? Now, 80s, again, 80s is probably the most important era of hip hop.
I agree.
But the 90s is the greatest, because the 90s is really when it shoved our struggle, our experiences, our culture, the way we dealt with everything in life, in everybody's face around the world.
And that's why I always laugh, man, when people say that the 80s wasn't lyrical. Chuck D had a verse, man, that probably was the most important rap verse I heard. That's what really made me, even before, more so between Rakim, it was more Chuck D, man, because he had this real deep tone, right? The tone that he had was, I'd never heard nothing like that before. And when he started off with, "I got a letter from the government the other day," I opened and read it. It said they were suckers. They wanted me for their army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said never. That shit was the hardest stuff I ever heard. And you talk
Chuck
about
D,
somebody just being aware. Chuck D is nice.
Chuck D might be the most underrated when it comes to impact. Like, I think Chuck D is respected as a rapper. You know what I mean? People know, even a young person, you can go play some PE for them and they hear Chuck and they're going to be like, "Oh, he dope." Like, you could tell right off the rip, he's dope. But how many people his style influence? Like, you don't get Cube, the solo artist, without Chuck D. You don't get Tupac, the artist, without Chuck D. Like, it's so many people you don't get without Chuck D. You know what I mean? And we was just having this conversation, Twine. Remember, we were saying Ice-T is the oldest living MC that released records to a successful level. Because I'm sure it's people in different towns that we don't know. But on a national level, Ice-T was born in 58, so that makes him 66 this year.
Wow.
And he's still releasing records. Chuck D is 64. You know what I'm saying? So I think Chuck is for sure the most underrated when it comes to his impact. Like, we would name Tupac, obviously, right? You're gonna name Lil Wayne, right? It's some people you're gonna name that's obvious, right? That are influential, that are super influential, the obvious ones. But a guy like Chuck D, I think Rakim even gets his credit when it comes to influence. You know what I'm saying? I think you could look at the Nas, you could see things. But Chuck D, like birthing, like I'm sure if we sat down and talked to Scarface, that was somebody who I would like to have on his stream. You know what I mean? He would be worthy. It's funny because, like I said, I don't know what I would talk to Dot about, but I know what I would talk to Scarface about. Like I would bet money there is some Chuck D in Scarface.
Oh, I can guarantee you, especially earlier DJ action. So, especially early, I started small time, dope game, cocaine, pushing rocks on the block. I'm never broke, man. Sporting jewelry and the shit that came with rolling hard. You try to school me, you get served with no regard. That's kind of Chuck D, that little staccato flow he got. Wouldn't you agree?
Shout out to Adrian in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all killing it. Please keep giving us things to push our brains. Jay Freeze, Unknown Raider, Revenge. I'm glad you're here, brother. Name Brand, Natasha Lanes, much love. Kelvin, Bells, everybody in here. I appreciate y'all showing us love. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button so this video can spread. Again, this is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. My big brother Steele, my little bro Pete, my big bro Twine. We up in this thing cooking. You feel me? Talking the talk. Click the link in the description to the No Ceilings podcast. It's a new episode that went up today. That should have went up yesterday. Conversations that Norm Steele started. Steele always sends this podcast or this live stream into a spiral. You feel me? So y'all should make sure y'all click the link in the description. Check it out again. Click that thumbs up. Shout out to Adrian with the comment. Best hip hop album of all time. It takes a nation a million. I'm not mad at that. That's a really dope record. It's definitely, and best is so subjective. Like, greatest is quantifiable. Best is so subjective. But again, I think Chuck D is one of those top 5 influential artists that we don't really give credence to. I think he's just as influential as a Tupac.
And I'll tell you why he was really influential. Public Enemy took hip hop around the world, bro. It was people in London going crazy, Germany. They just traveled the world, Japan. They were really like one of the first global hip hop acts. You know, there were people going over to Europe and stuff, but not like them. These people was doing whole tours, man, like world tours. They was touring like rock stars almost.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Unknown Raider for saying Paid in Full was the best. It's subjective though, because Public Enemy I think it had a bigger impact than Paid in Full for sure.
Don't read my comments.
There's a group from Hollis.
I can help. It's right there. You keep putting it up there.
You need some. I'm gonna get you some glasses, bro.
There's a group from Hollis, Queens that predated, and to this day, Chuck D gives it all up to the 3 brothers
Run
from Hollis,
DMC.
Queens.
You know what? They right. They was the first global hip hop brand.
But it's all
right.
As far as merchandising,
branding.
Merchandising was concerned, branding, like Run Them. I remember I wasn't there, but I do know people who were there the night in Madison Square where Run had everybody put their Adidas up in the air in Madison, sold out Madison Square.
Run DMC probably has one of the greatest hip hop logos ever. Like I know their logo in the back of my mind, like permanently. Like Run DMC's logo is probably as polarizing and as famous as Wu-Tang's logo. And it don't seem like it's possible, but it'll surprise you how many people know Run DMC's logo.
Everybody, worldwide. I can't believe I slipped on them, man.
It's just
shout out to the homie Duke. Shout out to them.
Even the Beastie Boys.
Voice is like Martin Luther King Jr. It is. Chuck D voice is crazy.
And I was blessed to spend some time with Chuck D like a couple times, and I didn't do nothing but sit and listen. Like I just shut my mouth and he's still spry. He's in his 60s and he's still jumping up and down off stage. He's just one of the best people I've ever met, not just besides the music. And then people don't understand Chuck is an accomplished artist as well. Like he was studying to be an architect. He was going to be an architect.
Shout out to Unknown Raider guy, greatest hip hop label of all time, Death Row or Def Jam. Def Jam. It's not even a conversation. To your point, that's how I feel when I'm around Ice-T or Too Short. Like those guys are so Short is unbelievably knowledgeable when it comes to hip hop. Like he's probably one of the greatest minds to understand how hip hop transitioned out of the Don. You know what I mean? How it just was birthed. Like he will make sure I know. Shout out to Uncle Short. He will make sure I know, bro, exactly what happened and how it happened. He would tell me who really hated hip hop and who didn't. Short is gonna keep it a being with you. Like, and Ice-T is the same. Ice-T will tell me some stuff. Like Ice-T's wisdom is probably like somebody that's 90. You could tell he lived a lot of life, bro. And it's dope to have them dudes. And we was just talking about me and the homie Gene. Shout out to my boy Gene. He probably in the chat. But we were saying like hip hop needs to. Snoop and Dre just did a sit down with Stephen A. Smith, and Dre was complaining about. Forgive me, he wasn't complaining. Dog was complaining. Dre was saying how he prefers when artists get with one producer, right, and make an album, right? And I get why. It's a simple thing, right? It's the cohesion of the experience, right? Pete and Snoop was complaining that rappers are butchering hip hop songs, and I agree. And Gene was saying something that was important, and it went to what Snoop was saying. Like, we are not, hip hop has lost its feel of going back and getting black artists and pulling them into the party. Like, there's so many dope people that we are not working with in hip hop anymore. Like, shout out to Dog and them in the 90s, because this is where I really give a lot of credit to the 90s guys. Whether it's the stuff Puff was doing as a producer, Dre was doing as a producer, for Snoop to come out in 93 and have the dramatics on his album.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, we have got away from that. We are not doing that anymore. And whether Black America understands this or not, because I will never reference this as the Black community, whether Black America knows this or not, bro, we're not going to have these people
type shit
forever. You know what I mean? Some of them, we just lost Frankie Beverly. Think about how few hip hop records happen that probably should have Frankie Beverly. We lost Barry White. Like, we're not going to have Ronald. Yeah, we're not going to have, Ronald Isley forever. Like, we're not going to have these people. I'm trying to work and get a song done with the Whispers, Patrice Rushen, the lead singer from Rolls Royce, right? Because these people from my town. This is just in my town. And like, hip hop needs to get back to really making sure the rest of the world, including here, knows that this is another genre in great Black music and bringing it together. Like, it's missing.
I'm thankful they show a lot of love to Charlie Wilson, because Charlie Wilson stay working.
Uncle Charlie.
I hear Charlie all the time. Thankfully.
But it's so many dope guys outside of Uncle Charlie that are not being used. Like, I was talking to my homeboy Pun, and it's ironically, that's how I know God is pointing me in the right direction. But Head was sitting down doing an interview with Akon, and I called him. And I had just told Pun, I'm like, man, I'm going to try to get Akon on this hook. Right. And he was like, man, why are you, looking to get Akon? And I'm like, well, some people are forever talent. Their voice will be synonymous with existing. Go ahead, Steele.
You know what the problem is, bro, right there, what you said. I hear a lot of people, I kind of like cross the bridge a little bit. I mess with a lot of younger artists than us. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I talk to these guys, right? And the word I hear, that's old, that's dated, man. It's like, man, what sound good is going to always sound good. What sounded good in 66 is going to sound good in 2025.
Especially with those voices, Steele's like Ronald Isley. Once we lose Ronald Isley's voice, we'll never have it again.
Type shit. Like,
there could be emulations of it, but it will be missing parts. Like, shout out to Dog's artist, Dope Dude.
Yeah, I know you just talking about the dude that sound like Marvin. He sound like Marvin, but he's not Marvin.
He don't feel like Marvin.
Yeah, he don't feel.
He has a great tonality where he can hit Marvin stuff, but there's a feel, and that's the thing when you don't have
his records.
Yeah, he's hella dope.
That's the thing when you don't. That what's the joint he had on the radio? He got some joints, but he's not Marvin Gaye though, bro.
Pete, what's your opinion? I know you ain't really got in on this. I know you see us over here going hip hop.
On this topic, or on the last 3 minutes topic, or the whole topic?
The whole topic.
I think that the 80s are like the seeds, and the 90s are like the flowers.
Mm. Good analogy.
People always talk about how important the 80s are. Yeah, you're not going to have a plant, you don't have a seed. But the greatness really, I felt like, hit the 90s. You had a greater diversity of landscape of input geographically, and also that was kind of like where there was an expansion of the artistic musical side of it. There was a better marriage between what was happening on the MC side and on the musical side that really kind of hit full stride. Like the learning curve really, knocked it out of the park in the 1990s. It wasn't really quite there so much. In the 80s, it was a little bit more trying to get it figured out, hadn't kind of found itself yet.
Well, in the 80s, like let's go through the 80s, right? You don't get Cube the solo act, but you get NWA. You get Short.
Dope Man. You get Dope Man.
You get Short, which is NWA. You get LL, right? LL is probably the greatest hip hop act out of the 80s. I think it's okay for me to say that. I saw Chuck D really present a great argument for LL Cool J that was hard to beat. I thought so, but hearing Chuck D phrase it was like everything. It really completed. So I think it's fair to say, the greatest act out of the 80s was LL. The greatest act out of the West was probably Ice-T in the 80s. I think Short is more of a long burn.
Very much so.
The South didn't. Uncle Luke kind of, we didn't really. I guess we got the Ghetto Boys. We could say the Ghetto Boys. Scarface joined the Ghetto Boys in the 80s still, or was that like 90s?
It was in the 80s.
I think that first shit was in the 80s.
Probably like late 80s,
late 80s,
because the original Ghetto Boys, the only original member from the Ghetto Boys, well, actually, all of them were. Bushwick was a dancer.
Ready Red.
He wasn't a group member.
Scarface wasn't with them.
No, he wasn't with them at first.
Ready Red.
I knew the members. DJ Ready Red. He was only holdover from the first group.
Johnny C.
Prince Johnny C.
And it was somebody else. I can't remember the third one. But Face was named Action, Kid Action.
He was DJ Action. Yeah, DJ Action. And
Action.
The thing was with the Assassins record, that was a holdover from the first Ghetto Boys. I think Prince Johnny C. wrote that. As I walked the Fifth Ward, I saw this man. He was kind, but he was blind. I took his jewelry and ran. Box, jukebox
type shit.
So it was the other member was jukebox.
So Ghetto Boys out of the South, even though it probably is Uncle Luke, because the Ghetto Boys hadn't quite found they full-fledged till around Minds Playing Trick. People was into it. And what was the Midwest in the 80s? What would we say is the greatest act from the?
No, hold on, back up a little bit. The Ghetto Boys, that album has sold a lot before Mind Playing Tricks. We Can't Be Stopped.
I remember that record. I'm saying, but it probably wouldn't. They wouldn't have surpassed where Uncle Luke was at that point.
They were selling a lot of records, bro. I think their first album might have went gold, but they didn't sell. You're right. They didn't sell more than Luke was. Luke was
and not just sales being the ultimate quantifier, but the Uncle Luke and the Two Live.
No, Luke and them was killing it. They was
like some things for my whole life. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it was moving things. It was doing their thing.
Yeah, it was serious. You know what I mean? That stuff was happening down there. Shout out to Mix, man. That shit was serious. And what about the Midwest? Who was the greatest act out the 80s from the Midwest?
Now that's the thing. See, when I started to think chronologically and I think about state to state, there was nothing in the 80s. There was nothing popping in Cleveland like that. In Chicago, there was nothing hardly popping. I mean, it was starting to bubble. Yeah. But in Detroit, you had a dude by the name of Awesome Dre in the Hardcore Committee. And how I remember Awesome Dre is that he was the first one. He put out an album cover where he was dissing LL and Kool Moe Dee simultaneously. He had them lined up in front of his Jeep. And so at the time, he was like about to pop them both. It's like it raised a lot of controversy. But Awesome Dre and the Hardcore Committee were like, they didn't make it big, but in terms of, getting a little buzz, that would be about it, because there was nothing popping in Milwaukee like that. Chicago wasn't popping like that. Minneapolis wasn't popping like that.
It was more local people. You had a local dynamic like you had in Cleveland.
They didn't have a national act like the South or the
West. They didn't have a national act like in Cleveland, like in Ohio. Johnny O and the Sorcerer Crew during that time was the biggest thing jumping.
Right.
And maybe that's also why I favor the 90s. I feel like the 90s, we got Atlanta. I remember
you got New Orleans in the 90s.
You got New Orleans in the 90s. You got Cleveland in the 90s. You got Chicago in the 90s. You got Milwaukee in the 90s. You got Detroit in the 90s. You got everybody in the 90s. That's when you start noticing.
And you knew it when you heard it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You know, that's the difference. Like the sound was a lot more alike in the 80s. Like there was differences, I mean, but it wasn't like that.
Only a handful of people, because it
Let
was
my boy Twan
limited
get his
equipment.
stuff off.
And MJ in the comments mentioned MC Shy D. Let's keep in mind though, MC Shy D did help build the Atlanta scene, but MC Shy D is from the Bronx. He's from New York. So we make sure that we clarify that. But yeah, I agree. I agree, because I don't have any problem accepting correction in terms of 88.
Was Shy D a national act?
No, he was on.
He sold some records.
He sold some records, but it was more like that.
Because I don't remember. I heard about Shy D more than I heard any of his music. I for sure heard Uncle Luke. I for sure heard Ghetto Boys in the 80s. You know what I mean? I for sure heard, obviously, everybody from New York ever, including everybody from Jersey. And I for sure heard Ice-T and NWA.
You got to remember, during that time, hip hop was very much a regional thing too. You know, it was still regional. Like MC Shy D, if you went to Atlanta, Miami, you would think he was bigger than life. Whereas out here, he may not have no traction.
Yep. He had the leather. He had the leather Adidas suits. He was dressing just like Run DMC, except he wore a little beanie. But he had the big old Dookie Gold ropes. And I was moving down south a little bit. So he was known up here in the Midwest too. He was known in Milwaukee too.
Somebody in the comments said 80s is just the Old Testament, lost of brimstone and fire. 90 is the New Testament, lots of prophets and commandments. The 2000 was the first to read from the book and start preaching it, the gospel. That's fire.
Yeah, that's a fire analogy right there. That's real cool right there.
Shout out, I can't pronounce your name, Vanitish. I like that. I don't know what that is, but that was fire.
That was dope. It was a great summation.
I always say this about gangster rap. Ice-T is the god of gangster rap, right? Ice Cube is the Moses of gangster rap, right? Snoop is the Jesus of gangster rap.
Well, what is Schoolie D?
Schoolie D is the inspiration for gangster rap.
He's the catalyst.
He's the reason why gangster rap exists.
He's the cat. But the more I listen to PSK, they're not really talking about. No,
they're not. He's really talking about DJs, MCing. Yeah. It's not really. It's still traditional hip hop. It's a bit rougher for sure, because you could tell School was.
You got to remember, he was talking about a little bit of gunplay on there. A little bit. That was a first for that time.
Not
in a humorous way, though. In a humorous way, though.
He has some stuff. He has some Gat references on there, G.
But it's not the Gat reference that makes gangster rap gangster rap becomes gangster rap when they stop focusing on rappers and DJs.
G, you got to remember at that time, bro. You just have to remember this. These people were the first doing something. It wasn't nobody coming on record.
Listen, you ain't got to convince me. Yeah, you ain't got to convince me. Ice-T didn't rap about MCing and DJing. It was just everything that was happening in reality where we're from. And that kind of create reality rap the way we know it. Really, which we can give a lot of credit to OG that made the message.
Melly Mel.
That wasn't about no rapping or no. So there's a few catalysts. I think and then listening to Ice-T, how much respect he had for Mel. He talked about Mel to me. He talked about School. And I think that became the combination that birthed gangster rap.
Ice-T was saying stuff like, mine's in a money mode. Seems like it would explode. Girlies on my Jemmy got a female overload. Young street messiah, professional liar. 19 got a Benz, 21, I retire.
You sound just like
it was just, Ice-T was like, sometimes I listen to Colors.
He's so cold, dog.
And the underrated way he delivered the mentality of the life. And he didn't just make it look crazy. He didn't make people look. He gave you an understanding like, this is why we do it. Like my
cold,
life. Like, you trying to talk to that dude is incredible.
When you see you tell him I said he cold. Tell him you owe a lot of people, Pookie, man. You owe a lot of people. That dude
is so incredible as a poet and as a writer. You know what's funny? You know what's Colors redone? And nobody really understands why it's so big and great. But you know what Colors, the remake of Colors?
Educators.
Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise. Listen to Gangsta's Paradise. It's Colors. He explains gangbanging from this mind state of how it works, and he gives you a real different understanding. That's why that song is so big. It just went pop, so it kind of, rest in peace to the OG homie, but it went pop because it was so big. But if you listen to the stuff he sang in that song, that is crazy.
Man, you know the
Hold up. You like to do this all the time. Look up Coolio's Gangsta Paradise and read us the raps.
I'm going
Look it up, Steele.
I'm not mad at your analogy.
No, read it. I just like when you do that. You always do it to troll me. Do it now on something so you can see what I'm saying.
He only does that to stuff that he heard when he was in his early teens.
No, I don't, Peter. You wrong.
I did.
As I walked through the valley of the shadow of death, I took a look at my life and realized there's nothing left, because I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Maybe treated like a punk, that's unheard of. You better watch how you talking and where you walking, or you and your homies might be lying. I really hate the trip, but I got a low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. He was busting on this, dog.
He was talking
I see myself in the pistol smoke. I'm the kind of G, like on my knees and night saying prayers in the street light. He was saying some hard lyrics, dog.
You don't get the depth of what he was saying, like the depth.
I didn't dispute what you were saying. I that was just a revelation to me. I never thought of that.
Yeah. A shout out to MJ. He makes a point, but what's crazy, MJ, this is a real Coolio used a lot of Pac's accent in Gangsta's Paradise. You got to do your homework, MJ. You'll realize it's a little bit more tricky than you could imagine where that comes from. But if you read up colors, if you look up colors, like them, they're not just making it like, yeah, I'm just a screw up and I'm tripping on everybody. I'm just da. It's like, no, this is why these things are happening.
Hold on, G, listen to this, the second verse. Look at the situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I got to be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my 10 in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out gangster, set tripping banger, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger.
You in heaven.
This ain't nothing but a heartbeat away. I'm living life, do or die. What can I say? I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things are going, I don't know.
Yo, that's powerful, prolific.
That made you come off the porch in the glasses.
And that's corny. Yeah, because
you did a cartwheel. You did a cartwheel off the porch when that came out, didn't you?
You know what's fun? It was so big initially that I don't think we really got to enjoy it.
It was the number one song in the world for a minute. Not just number one rap song.
Deservedly so. Deservedly so.
Is that probably number one song in the world? Is that probably the first number one gangster rap song?
I don't want to. It might be, bro, because that was a huge record.
95. So this is before Tupac's California Love. Snoop didn't get his first number one until Drop It Like It's Hot. Dre didn't
How did F the Police go? How did F the fuck the Police go?
Nowhere near.
It wasn't no number one song.
I wonder why.
Hey, yo, hold on one second. That's my mama.
Hold on. Is that the first number one song, gangster rap song to go number one? Hold up. Okay, Pac's first number one is California Love. Easy didn't have a number one. Dre's first number one is California Love. Snoop's first number one is Drop It Like It's Hot. Too Short hasn't had a number one yet. I mean,
none of the Cube songs went that big.
Cube didn't have a number one. Cube's biggest record is Today Was a Good Day, and I think that was a number 15. Who had big gangster rap records?
This is why you never trust Google, because I Googled, it said Ice Ice Baby was the first. I'm like, I asked for gangster rap. So it won't say. It won't say.
Probably is Coolio's Gangsta's Paradise.
Would the Gangsta Paradise come out before G Thing though?
G Thing didn't go number one, it was number 2.
Wow, I cannot believe that, dog. Don't say that around me. Yeah,
G Thing was number 2. It was, and I remember the record that was holding it off from being number one. Quick didn't go number one on the pop charts. Never went number one on the pop charts.
No, I know. I didn't think.
What was number one?
No, shout out to Know Me Name Brand.
What song was number one?
They won't say. Like they literally won't say. They keep on. They mention records. They talk.
No, I thought Glasses was saying he knew the song that was number one ahead of G Thing. What was it?
I used to know what song it was. It was a song
Oh,
that
well,
I did not remember.
You're right. No, you're right. You're right. Glasses. Your glasses. You're right. Gangster's Paradise in 95 stayed on top of the charts for a whopping 7 weeks. That's the
Yeah,
gangster rap
It
record.
was a whole summer. It
song.
was like an entire summer.
I still y'all really killing me for me to say that G Thing didn't go number 1. I cannot believe that, bro. But it's true.
Number 2, Dre Day. Dre Day was number 4. And I know a little ghetto boy. Who Am I didn't go number 1. Doggy Dog World didn't go number 1. Murder Was the Case didn't go number
Gin
1.
and Juice would have been. I would have thought the closest.
That's what I'm saying too, though.
I
If you
get
could have just seen, if you could just see your face, if you could just see your face when if you could just see your face when he was rapping them Coolio lyrics.
What was it first? Was it Crossroads or was it Gangsta's Paradise? Because both of those were number 1.
Ooh.
For sure, Crossroads were number 1. I remember that.
Crossroads might have been. Oh, Crossroads though.
Crossroads a hell of a gangster rap song.
That my money's after.
Oh no, Crossroads is 96.
But is Crossroads a gangster rap record though? They talking about.
Hell yeah, Crossroads a gangster rap record.
Yeah, man.
Is it?
Crossroads gangster rap record. They talking about losing. Well, it was their uncle, but
he might have said everybody looking at us.
Yeah, he might have been from the hood.
Dog, if you could have just seen your face when Steele was rapping them Coolio lyrics, dog, you went into full mode, bro. Like your face, you looked about 12 in the face, like for a minute, bro. Like I could see it in your face, bro. Like you had your first polka sacks, you had your house shoes on, you had your Pendleton
when
on.
you hear it, bro, it's vindicating.
If you see in your face though, you gotta redo the replays. You gotta make sure you zoom in on your face and see the expression on your face when he started rapping.
It's vindicating, bro. When you listen to these songs, bro, it's vindicating. It's like, oh, somebody understands us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Listen to Colors, bro. And I know Colors by heart, but I want to read it. I am a nightmare walking, psychopath talking. King of my jungle, just a gangster stalking, living life like a firecracker, quick as my fuse. Vendettas of death back, the colors I choose, red or blue, cause of blood. It just don't matter. Suckers die for your life when my shotgun scatters.
Colors.
The gangster LA will never die, just multiply. That dude predicted that this was going to happen. So,
see, they kill us, then we kill them. Then we kill them, and they kill us. That was the original version, the real version of it. That's what he was saying.
Crossroads is not a gangster rap song.
That's what I'm saying.
Crossroads is a gangster rap song.
Who got killed? Who they ride on in Crossroads? Who they ride on in Crossroads?
No, they were talking about losing somebody.
Uncle Charles died by natural death, man. Uncle Charles was probably old.
Multiple homies though.
That was a salt death.
Uncle Charles drank.
That was a blood pressure.
Yeah, Uncle Charles ate too many pig feet and drank and to bone. If y'all see this, I mean no disrespect, but Uncle Charles drank too much Kool-Aid. The sugars was bad.
You disown me? Cool. That was my older sister. My older sister was trying to disown me because I was from the set, and it didn't matter. It was like, whatever, big sis, I don't care. I don't need your assistance, social persistence. Any problem I got, I just put my fist in. My life is violent, but violent is life. Peace is a dream. Reality is a knife.
That's beautiful.
My colors, my honor, my colors, my all. With my colors upon me, one soldier stands tall. Tell me what you have. Tell me what have you left me? What have I got? Last night in cold blood, my young brother got shot. My homeboy got jacked. My mother's on crack. My sister can't work because her arms show tracks. Madness, insanity, live in profanity. Then some punk claiming they're understanding me. Give me a break. What world do you live in? Death is my set. Guess my religion. That is incredible.
Why is your face lighting up like Christmas Eve when you read the lyrics?
He nails it.
I know. I love it. I love it, guys.
He nails it.
In real time, bro. In real time.
He
it's beautiful.
nails it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Okay, shout out to the homie Unknown Raider guy. Yo-Yo was number 1 when you can't play with my yo-yo. It's a different chart, though. So, like, they used to have a thing called R&B rap charts. They used to call them urban charts, too, and black charts. She was number 1 on the rap charts. Gin and Juice didn't go number 1. No, Gin and Juice didn't go number 1.
Bugging every time y'all say that. That kills
Gin and
me,
Juice
bro.
did not go number 1.
I just knew. Like I would have bet my left pinky finger, and I would
no.
have no left pinky fingers to say that G thing.
No.
Pete, I'm serious. I would have bet like to bet that G thing, that G thing in Gin and Juice didn't go number 1. I cannot believe that to this.
Gin and Juice went number 8.
I'm done, bro. I'm done.
Hold on one second. Shout out to the big homie Nabi. Nabi, I appreciate you popping in the chat. First off, this is No Ceilings Live, the lunch hour. Thank y'all for being here, killing these chats. Make sure you click the thumbs up button. Trap, you ain't shit. Click the thumbs up button so this video can share. We here Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Pacific Standard Time. Click the link in the description. Subscribe to the No Ceilings podcast. That's the reason why we do this in the first place. The last episode, Conversations that Norm Steele started, is there. It's really dope. Check it out. The OG homie Nabi, what up, glasses? This is Nabi. It's not the 90s were better. It's just we have more subject matter and content, the good, the bad of street life, not just good. It's a content subject matter absence today. I don't think we arguing about preference of what's better. We was talking about greater, more impactful, and like things that are quantifiable. Better is subjective. I don't think, again, colors and even when I listen to the records in the 80s, it's a different type of rich. And no disrespect to Pac Dog, all the guys that were really made the 90s, X, J, Nas, that made the 90s what they were. Outkast, Bone. But the stuff that the 80s, it was a level of poetry to me when the 80s guys speak. Like it was a level, like the 90s, they definitely pushed the envelope of culture. They definitely pushed the envelope of culture, and they were very much carrying their own as MCs. But man, when you listen to Colors, like y'all not listening to what I'm saying to you. Like to be able to first person to define the mentality of it. Again, the 90s, I can never say the 90s are more influential. I can give the 90s credit for being great because of everything, but everything about the 90s was inspired by the 80s. My pants are sagging, braided hair, sucker stare, but I don't care. My game ain't knowledge, my game's fear. I've no remorse, so squares beware. But my true mission is just revenge. You ain't in my set, you ain't my friend. Wear the wrong color, your life could end. Homicide's my favorite binge. Like the way that those guys talk, this was the first time. So to have to lay it out like that, Coolio did have the benefit. Bow Down didn't go number 1 either. Shout out to Unknown Raider guy. Bow Down didn't go number 1 on the big charts, on the pop chart. But Coolio, even with the brilliance of Gangsta's Paradise as a written song and one of the greatest gangster rap songs, Colors was like the first time it was wrote. Even Coolio has the benefit of Colors. You know what I mean? Coolio has the benefit. Gangsta's Paradise has the benefit of Colors to establish.
Gee, I don't know, man. After revisiting the Gangsta's Paradise, though, that might be one of the greatest rap songs ever made, bro.
It is. By far.
It is. It's a beautiful song.
And just the impact, the legacy of that record, man.
It's just so successful. So it's just hard. Yeah. Culturally, it's like the term "What's Up." What's Up might be the dopest street urban term ever created, but What's Up is so mainstream now that you don't really give credence that was something that only a few people used to talk, like the backwards cap. Like there's certain things that culturally were created, like tacos. It's hard to just make tacos Mexican now. It's hard to make some things that go so grand and big, just restricted by now that culture. Like hip hop, we fighting to hold it now. Yeah, that's what I said. Unknown Raider go. Yeah, read the third verse. It's that dope.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, man. They say I gotta learn, but nobody's here to teach me. If they can't understand me, how can they reach me? I guess they can't. I guess they won't. That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool.
That shit crazy.
That's like, it's a really impactful and powerful.
It's a cry for help.
That's why as big as it was, man. That's like, you know, that's Lennon, man. That's Bob Dylan. That's like great lyricism, bro.
But that's how I feel about a lot of the writers in the 80s.
There's
Like,
great lyricism.
That's what it was
the
more
writers
about.
in the 80s were unbelievably, because remember, again, we talking about you don't have a reference. You know what I mean, Twine? Like, when you don't, like, I have the benefit of 40 years to study now, 50 years. So even a song that I feel is dope, like Tupac Must Die, I can't get mad when people don't get the writing.
Who wrote that? Who wrote that?
Yeah. I can't get mad when people don't get the writing of it, because it's like, at the end of the day, they don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, you've had this many records to study, but man, to write Colors when nobody wrote it before, and to explain it to where it's not just like talking shit about it, but it's also, you know what I'm saying? It's also telling you why the mind state is what it is. Shout out to the homie,
bro.
Shout out to the homie Trap. Go ahead.
Listen to this stat, bro. This is really interesting. In July 2020, the Pudding carried out a study on the most iconic songs from the 90s and songs that are most known by millennials and the people of Generation Z. Gangsta's Paradise was the song with the 12th highest recognizability rate. That's deep, bro. So it crossed boundaries. You feel what I'm saying? Like young and older people.
And to Trap's point, when he's saying it's cheesy Mac, it's not, Trap. It's just so successful that it had no choice but to be cheesy.
Trap already said it earlier, though, when he said it doesn't hurt that the greatest artist in the history of music, in the history of mankind, Stephen Morris, let them use that sample, because that was a great record already. But then to layer it with them lyrics, it was just a perfect storm.
I wonder. We gotta talk to Stevie, bro. That was somebody else who I would like to have on No Ceilings. Somebody like Stevie Wonder. You know what I mean? Because I would love to hear his opinion. I would talk to him 30 minutes just about Gangsta's Paradise. Ain't that crazy? Stevie Wonder, one of the all-time greats, and I would just talk to him.
The greatest.
And Stevie don't clear stuff he don't like. He's very adamant about that. Stevie Wonder don't clear nothing he don't like.
Think about him hearing that song.
From Detroit.
And it was LV's record at first. That's the crazy part about it. LV wound up giving them that record.
Yeah, but even Trap, the songs written behind the film, Colors is not about gangbanging. Colors is about the police. And he wrote a song that really gave people an understanding of the mind state.
Colors, the movie, is about the police.
Yes.
Not Colors, the song. Just to be clear, because we were already whiffing on, you know.
Shout out to my OG LV. He called me yesterday, and I didn't even call him back. I'm glad y'all brought him up. That's LV's song.
Yeah, it was LV's record.
LV's song.
I didn't know that. That's ingenious.
And you know what? LV, his biggest gripe is, man, that he said, man, the dude tried to give me $500 on tour Steele.
500 a night?
Yeah, he tried to give him 500 a night or something like that.
Shout out to LV vocals on Gangsta's Paradise. No, it's way deeper than that. It's LV's idea.
Yeah, it's his song. It was his song.
Yeah.
And the label said they were on the same label, and labels, you know, said, oh, this would be great on Coolio's album.
Wow. Shout out to Leatherface, 84, So Many Tears, Instruments, dope. Yeah, that's Stevie Wonder as well. What's crazy is So Many Tears was inspired by I Seen a Man Die.
Tupac was very much influenced. Ray Love from the Bay, who was in a group with Pac. He told me, he said, man, their main influence was Scarface.
Scarface is unbelievable, man.
They made him, man, Pac's main influence. He said Pac's main influence was Scarface.
A lot of my mostly all of my early stuff is influenced by Scarface. I didn't really look to Scarface and want to rap, but when I started rapping, that was one of the people that I felt was worthy to sound like Scarface, Cube, and Beanie Siegel were like the guys that I felt like if I was rapping, I would be okay sounding like these guys if that was the point.
You know how I feel about Face, but this is the most prolific Face song to me, and he got Face songs. Face has some of the most prolific raps ever. If I had to play God for a day, I would open up the gates, let the world see my face, remove all doubt from the ones without the faith, and put them on the path for the straight, a safe place. For the young to come outside that want to play, I let their mamas know that it's okay. And when y'all pray, I respond, so y'all can all see a sign, and answering every prayer one at a time. If I'm God, huh? All the stabbings, all the war will come to cease. My whole entire hood will be at peace. No more beef. And you can sleep without the tears of being woke by the sounds of sirens, screams of people being smoked. No more dope. You don't need it. You'll be cured of all diseases. Your whole entire life will be deleted. Please forgive me. I've been dreaming and rudely interrupted by the demons. laughing at the picture I was seeing on the ceiling. That's some powerful stuff, dog.
You get mad at me when I tell you I'm not quite sure he's not God. Having a hip hop experience.
He's an extension of.
So crazy when I said that.
Bro, you know what? Reading this stuff, because when I first heard that song, I got chills all over my body, bro. I said, what is this? And I had to rewind it, bro, like 20 times.
We got a whole podcast, Twine, where I tell these dudes that I'm not quite sure Scarface is not God.
He's anointed.
God.
He's a vessel
listen
of.
to the counter. Listen to the counter
God.
to his first verse. Just imagine if the devil had a day and God took a break and walk away, would you feel safe? If everything you love turned into hate, will a dark angel's evil show you grace, only to be eaten by a snake? One life, one mistake. Be careful of the choices that you make, because one day you'll be standing on your feet, and then the next, you're underneath the sheet greeting death. I wonder when I sleep if he's there sitting on my chest, stealing breath, shortening my days even less. Lost souls never rest. A killer walks the street seeking flesh. An adolescent hangs, she depressed. A priest who confessed. A judge typed the nigga in the text. Your Honor, what the fuck did you expect? A father kills his son, took a life, it's a mess. Just imagine what would happen if the Lord up and left. That dude is the coldest, man.
Listen, Twine. My favorite Scarface is a song Never. Tell me, is this not something God would say in a rap? I would never violate the code of the streets, and I would never make a promise that I know I couldn't keep. Who the fuck says some shit like that?
Well,
everything he says, it almost sounds like it's in the Bible.
The beauty of the 80s is that it reached a culmination point in 88. Like I'm fortunate to see all of the eras. And so first two rap records, important rap records, King Tim III and Rapper's Delight in 79. By the time we got to 83, Sucker MCs, It's Like That, The Message. By the time we get to 85, I'm Bad.
I'm Bad is not yet in 85.
Okay, well, 86, 87. So, okay, so I'll keep it in 86 though. And the first time I heard Rakim, I had already started writing my rhymes. I was already an MC. I had already performed.
Wait, start over.
When I heard Rakim, I felt stupid.
Let me throw these rhymes.
I felt stupid. When I heard KRS-One, I said, "Wow, I have a future in this." When I heard "Let Us Begin," what, where, why, or when, but let me explain like instructions to a game. See, I'm not insane. In fact, I'm kind of rational. When I be asking, who is more dramatical, this one or that one, the white one or the black one? Pick the punk and I jump up to attack one. So, and then the dude from Corona Queens came along and he slid in. He slid in and said,
slid on everything.
Yeah, Corona slid in and said,
hold on. Let me say something. Shout out to Queens, shout out to New York that birthed this thing we call hip hop that we are gracious. We keep trying to tell y'all, Trap, nobody cares about how many metaphors you use, how many similes you use. You have to say something that means something to people. So when you say Scarface is simple, it really doesn't resonate because he's saying something that's it penetrates your soul.
Who said something about Scarface being simple?
The homie Trap, but I get why, because they used to being on the corner, just making worms.
Lyrical.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say this real quick.
Like, don't make me get started on y'all like with Steele's favorite style of rap. You know what I mean? What you call it, Steele? The niggas that do what?
Lyrical city.
No, not the lyrical. What did you call Dawes Effects?
Iggity biggity.
Iggity biggity.
Iggity biggity niggas.
Still, I'm blocking you, bro. Don't talk to me no more, Still. Y'all call him Iggity biggity.
Iggity biggity.
I'm done, bro.
That's what y'all.
I can understand Trap though, Glasses, because Trap came up off of. I used to stand on the block selling cooked up rock, money busting out my sock because I really would clock. There were four kind of fiends bringing jackets and jeans, magazines, anything. That's not simple, bro. That's not simple, man. In 88, that's not simple, bro.
That's what again, rhyming multiple words doesn't not mean it's simple. Like, we don't get. Listen,
I never would call Face simple.
All these guys we talking about are second
Trap
gen.
said that. I didn't say that.
No, this is cool G rap right here. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams. A team that's getting cream with sales of fish scales from triple beams. A gleam living the life of Raleigh, packing 50 Cali's. All that stuff, dog, is dope. But the thing is, people can't understand that, bro.
It's an old expression: all sizzle, no steak.
Are you serious?
Yep, exactly.
Are y'all
That's really what it
serious?
is. That's where we at with it. That's where we at with it.
What
I'm
I
not
had
saying
was
it to that degree. That degree is pretty derogative, but it's like
that was,
when
that was
when someone like
terrible.
you interview somebody, you read like like a response legally in court. It's a whole lot of flashy adjectives and adverbs, and the content it's wanting.
The man
That's
said
all.
what I had was bad, from my shoes to my pad, and the first time in my life loaning money to dad. What are y'all talking about in here, man?
We think
Block
that's
me,
cool.
man. Block me. Like y'all tripping in here right now.
No,
man.
we're not. We're just saying Scarface is just as remarkable.
I didn't say he wasn't. Scarface is very remarkable.
We're arguing
We're
with
talking
Trap
about
in the
you.
chat.
Well, the other guy.
Trap
Yeah,
going
the
Trap
other
from
guy.
Queens though. He not going
That's
Trap.
what I'm saying.
Trap.
I
Gonna
can
say
see
what he
you know
do.
what,
Traps
you
why
can know
people
for
like
rap
Pimp
stuff,
C
and
got
I'ma
so
tell
much
you.
attitude.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I love Cool G rap. I love all of those brothers with those big metaphors and things. But after a while, it sound like iggity biggity committee niggas, even the bitty millie.
Really, bro? That's how y'all. That's how y'all
so big.
feel.
Itty bitty, the litty, the titty, but
Really, bro? Really, bro?
Niggas really be
Man,
rapping in
that's
New
how it
York.
sound to people. Like when they listening, my
That's how I
daughter
think
said,
about
I don't
Eminem
understand what they're
most of the time.
saying.
Really, bro?
See,
That's really
Eminem
how it
speaks with a certain
sounds.
clarity.
That's really how y'all feel.
The litty kitty, the fitty, the mini, and they just be listening to that shit, sit on their porch, listening to the box, putting the box in their ear, bro. That you have to work too hard. It
Dude
shouldn't
said
be
itty
that
bitty
hard
the titty.
to listen
That was
to
witty.
Pre-major players getting favored by the layers, and those that betray us on the block get rocked like Amadeus.
Amadeus. What you mean, man? That's bars.
That's hard, but the average person ain't trying to hear all that, man.
Gators and gators. No.
Biggity, biggity, niggity,
Yeah.
and all that stuff,
Somebody
man.
blessed you, glasses. Look at that.
What?
Somebody
Oh,
blessed you, bro.
Oh, shout out to Bells. Oh, that's 50. We eating lunch. Bells, I love you. Thank you, Bella.
Somebody blessed you.
Who this person?
Man, we can all get a large.
Yeah, we eating big lunch right now.
I'm getting. I would like a chicken Big Mac, please.
That's a great question, Squishy. Yo, how is Steele not on the comedy stage? Exactly.
Still crazy. Still is crazy.
Fitty committee, the titty, the liddies, the fitty kitty, the bitty, the pitty.
And he don't smile, like he keep that same face.
You know what, bro? And I appreciate some of that stuff, but as a former A&R, I understand why that stuff doesn't resonate with some people.
Yes, because it's itty bitty, the kitty, the titty, liddy, the titty, and they just
wow, bro. Y'all are like, going crazy, bro. Like straight up. Too short. I'm that rapping man. I told you once, and I'ma say it again. Life is
too short.
Hold on, but again, poetry doesn't need to rhyme.
People
and
can't
have
rhyme with that, dog. They can rhyme along with it. Unless you a rapper, you can't rhyme Cool G rap stuff.
Yeah, you gotta be
on a world tour checking our clientele. Want to see how much pussy these hoes could sell.
Itty bitty committee, yeah. Titty the liddy.
Compared to iggity biggity committee.
Am I allowed to say that on here?
We're an hour and 17 in. Believe me, the Google people have long since left.
Let me read two short poetic shit that y'all don't give credit to. Even though the streets are bumpy, lights burnt out, dope fiends die with a pipe in their mouth. Old school buddies not doing it right. Every day it's the same, and it's the same every night. I wouldn't shoot you, bro, but I shoot that fool if he played me close and try to test my cool. Every day I wonder just how I'll die. Only thing I know is how to survive. There's only one rule in the real world, and that's to take care of you, only you and yours. Keep dealing with the hard times day after day. Might deal me some dope, but then crime don't pay. Black man tried to break into my house again. Thought he got off the dope doing time in a pen. Even though my brothers do me just like that, I got a lot of love, so I'm giving it back. In the ghetto trap, that's the difference. He's saying something that means something to people, not itty bitty titties, litty kitty. Fitty.
Oh wow, he said way more than he said. Way. Are you listening to what G-Rap said?
I'm not talking about G-Rap. We talking about all them itty bitty titty committee. Even though my brothers do me just like that, I get a lot of love, so I'm giving it back.
And this is one of my favorites. I know Trap will hate this.
Oh,
I'm blasting off on you hoes like NASA. Your double standards and hypocrisy remind me of Massa. We ain't good enough to eat at your table, but when you think it hard, you want to run up in our stable. I'm from the get coke, but I'm still clocking figures. I can't say the rest. He gonna have us get thing. Willie D Dog, all of that stuff sold records because people understood it and related to it. Yeah. I like when my boy said, "Bitch, I'll break your fingers."
Iggity biggity trap. Sometimes we don't want to hear all that iggity biggity shit. That ain't dope
Still.
all the time.
Now this is what my boys say. They say you can't rap and they question our intellect. Friendly ass niggas jumping bad on the internet. Ain't nobody typing that much can be a danger. Catch you in person, bitch, I'll break your fingers.
You say you want to be down for Willie D, but yet you find it difficult to listen to me.
Willie D
Every time you mess up and skip a class, I'm gonna put my goddamn foot in your ass.
Sometimes, bro, you could be listening to East Coast hip hop. It can get very much like you at school.
Oh wow, here we go, man. Bro, you straight out of order.
Miracle.
You are out of order, bro.
Miracle, cynical, vinegar.
Like, they be like, let me write the most syllables I could write with these. What, bro?
Y'all are so out of order, bro. Like y'all are wrong right now, bro.
You know what, man? That had me stuck when I was trying to find myself when I first started rapping. I wrote one of them long. I used to write like that too. Steele's the perfectionist, rhymes of aggressiveness. Makes you move, I'll improve while you envy this. Word to the wise, because the wise got wisdom. Never keeping no weed or no drugs in no system. Plus, I got the power to control the microphone I hold. And I'm here to show I got a load. Got to be built, because that's the way that I got a life. Rhymes blow up in your face like dynamite. I used to rap like that, dog, when I was a little kid. But then I said, man, people will be looking at me like this.
I ain't gonna even lie to you, Squishy. I don't even live in the building. I don't even gotta jump out the window. I'm already outside of it. I don't jump out the window, dog. I'm already outside. I don't even know why people is in the house. You can't sell me what's in there. I went through there. I walked through there. I know. I listen to New York hip hop, the home of it. I'd have had these conversations, and I understand what makes certain people great. But you can't also say somebody's simple because
why you smiling right now?
Because trap is crazy. Itty bitty committee, the titty litty, the city, the fitty bitty, biggity biggity.
You mean to tell me that Dead in the Middle of Little didn't resonate?
No.
What?
Bitter. No. I'm just not that impressed. Like just because you
realizing walking the line. You know who was great? The greatest at walking the line? Today's agenda. Pack the suitcase up in the central. Go to room 112. Tell them Blanca sent you.
That dude.
Rhymes nice. Like landmines. One step kaboom. Black suits.
See how simple that is? That might be one of the greatest combos in hip hop history. Mm-hmm. My rap line is like landmines. One step kaboom. Black suits fill the room. My rap lines is like landmines. One step, kaboom! Black suits fill the room. That's incredible.
He said some questionable things too, though. We're not going to act like he didn't say some he did have some very questionable lyrics.
This is 2024. I cannot judge people for based off what they say because whatever they sexual preference is fine.
You look so. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm gonna leave it be. I'm leaving it.
Heartthrob never, black ugly as ever. However, I dress Gucci down to the
never.
Black ugly as ever.
Never. Black and ugly as ever. However, that's nice. And he didn't need
Gucci down to the socks. Rings and watch filled with rocks. And my jam knocks in the
Mitsubishi. Hoes peep me when they see me. Navajos. Hoes peep me when they see me. Navajos creep me. Navajos. That's nice.
Wasn't that a truck? A Navajo? I know what it was. I'm part Native American, but wasn't a Navajo also a truck?
No. Navajo was the what do you call Indian people?
I know Native American. Don't call them Indian.
Native hoes.
I'm done, bro. You going? Why is it Friday already, bro?
Hoes creep him in the teepee. That's nice.
As I lay down laws like Alan Compton, stop it if you think you're going to make a profit. Go see my
ones. Gonna see my guns. Get it?
Get it?
Trap. That should be the only person anybody from New York raps like. That shit. That is nasty.
Really, bro?
AZ? AZ was nice.
AZ was nice, but Big is great without all the margin. You can tell Big wasn't right there. Like I love Rakim for the time period because Rakim really invented that margin rap.
And though I ain't promised to them the old timers, the
You don't do that for the rest of the hour.
Really,
like
bro?
There's
Really?
a serious art in writing throughout time, space, and history. Saying the most in the least words.
Yes.
And that's, I think, the point you're trying to get at.
And that is not what New York specialized early. They were saying the most shit, trying to say the most shit early.
They were trying to fill bars. And
they like it. Little Peter.
They were buying vowels wholesale. And they had to use all of those. They were buying E's and A's like in bulk. And they had to put them all in at the end of every song. They just had all these E's and A's to use.
766 words.
You can tell who from the West Coast up in here.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's true, but
y'all a mess, bro. Y'all
be
are both
judge of character.
And then this one right here, he from the Midwest. He really don't even look over here, bro.
Still love it. Still love it.
Man, I love all music. That's the thing. I love it. I just understand why some of that stuff don't sell as much as other stuff. I think Razzcast is incredible. Razzcast is one of the most incredible MCs ever.
He dope.
Nature of the Threat. Go listen to Nature of the Threat. One of the most incredible rap songs ever. Don't nobody want to take a history class though, bro.
He dope. I got a record.
You don't really how nice Big is with very few words. Like Wayne took Big style.
Yeah.
Because it's the same style. But
all right, and see, this is one of the best. This is Nas. Rappers are monkey flipping with the funky rhythm I be kicking. Musician inflicting composition of pain. I'm like Scarface sniffing cocaine, holding the M16 seed with the pen. I'm extreme. Got bullet holes left in my peepholes. I'm suited with the street clothes. Hand me a 9 and I defeat foes. You know my Steele with it without the airplay. I keep some E and J still bent up in the stairway. Or either on the corner getting grants with the CeeLo champs, laughing at bass heads trying to sell for some broken amps. G-Packs get off quick for wherever niggas talk shit, reminiscing about the latest
last time the task force flipped.
Niggas be running through the block shooting. Time to start the revolution, catch a body head for Houston. Once they caught us off guard, the MAC-10 was in the grass, and I ran like a cheetah with the thought of an assassin. Picked up the Mac up, tore up the whole city, and hit these punk niggas with my iggity biggity.
Oh, I'm done, man. He didn't say that. He didn't say that, dog. You really, hey, Steele, when you was an A&R, if somebody came in there with some garbage, what did you tell them? Did you be like, man, there's some garbage? Get the fuck. What did you mean? Did you let them down easily?
Shout out to D's Manifesto.
Some iggity shit, man. Get your ass up out of here.
Shout out to D's Manifesto. He said, honestly, Glass, you know that's fire. I did not think that one time when he was rapping.
Wow. You didn't rap. You didn't. I'm done, Glass.
I didn't think that one time when he was rapping that.
Man was hitting niggas one ran. I made him
hold on. Let me
heard a few chicks scream. My arm couldn't look.
Let me rap my favorite Nas verse. This is the best.
And I love Nas.
My favorite Nas verse. I heard the beat and I didn't know what to write. First line should it be about the hose or the ice. That verse on We Major. Rap about big paper or the black man plight. At the studio console, ask my man to the right what this verse sound like. Should I freestyle or write? He said, Nas want the fans. He said, Nas what the fans want is Illmatic still. Picked up the pad and pencil and jotted what I felt. Been like 10 years since a nigga first signed. Now I'm a free agent and I'm thinking it's time to build my very own Motown. Because rappers being deprived of executive 9-to-5s. And it hurts to see these companies be still in the light. And I love to give my blood, sweat, and tears to the mic. So y'all cop the LP and y'all fiends got dealt. I'm Jesse Jackson on the balcony when King got killed. I survived the livest niggas around. I lasted longer than more than half of these clowns. Look, I used to cook before I had the game took. Either way, my change came like Sam Cooke. That's nice.
Yeah, Nas
nice on everything. He's nice on all that shit. He's nice on whatever he do.
And Nas has some sense of like he don't really do the iggity biggity stuff.
Except that rap right there, what y'all talking about, that was nice. That was
iggity. Now when he doing all that, I be flipping the funky composition, the been the mixing.
Yeah, bro.
And he even said I hit him with my iggity biggity running through the city.
Yeah.
You
That
love
is
that, dog. You stuck, dog. You go
because he's from the Midwest. He love it too, just like you.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I was listening to Big Ocean Mob 415. I was listening to Paris. I was listening.
When I listen to music,
Paris
bro,
was hard, man.
when I listen to music,
Put in a rusty razor, heel amaze, mixing dope tricks to stick like
Oh.
Frazier, cubes the wheels of steel, then it begins to blend. Scarface in the house again.
Go
Man,
crazy.
Paris was one of the hardest, man.
He was cold, bro.
when I actually hear a song, I want it to be a song. I don't want it to sound like somebody's reading a novel over the music. I wouldn't listen to music for that. I wouldn't listen to a song for that. So
that's
where
by and large
people,
between the 80s and the 90s hip hop, though.
yeah. So where some people hear Ice Cube in the second half of his career, the world is mine, nigga. Get back. Don't fuck with my stack. The gauge is racked. About to drop the bomb. I'm the motherfucking Don. Big fish in a small pond. Now the feds trying to throw their books at the crooks, but I shook. They worm ended. I like when you rhyme into the beat. I don't want you to write your songs on a paper before you hear the music. I want you to hear the music and write the song. And that's what I do. I never got into it with OG, with Nas. He is one of the greatest, the 10 greatest MCs to ever live. But one thing that turned me off is like, I don't want to hear you where I can tell it sounds like you wrote this before you got the beat. It's a song. Look.
Otherwise, be Big Rube.
Right to the rhythm of the song. It's a record.
Some people is ambidextrous though. Glasses.
No, they're not, and that's the point. Because I can see when you're doing it, and I know it. That's why I can.
Oh man, shout out to the homie DJ Head, man. You know they did a write up on this Absol interview in Yahoo Entertainment.
That's dope. No, it's supposed to happen.
That's dope, man. Shout out to the homie Head, man. I love seeing stuff.
So like again, it's like that's what I don't like. I don't like when you have a notebook of rhymes and then you just go fit them over a beat. I am unimpressed.
Now, if y'all talking about Iggity Spiggity, his name was Spiggity One. Somebody just brought up Spice One in the comments. See, you ain't gonna do that, Steele, and just like put that all on the West, all on the East Coast, bro.
You're not putting it all on the East.
Yeah, you was gonna go with it. If I didn't say nothing about it, you was right with the shit.
I kept him in the brain with the nine. He never would have thought I'd be getting mine, but now I'm gonna run up the Spice. Spice was hard, dog.
I know it was hard, but we ain't gonna act like he didn't Iggity Spiggity.
It's the unseen pulling strings with my pinky ring. We got your woman pucker up before we fuck her up. Bow down before I make a phone call. Got 25 killers running up on y'all for the cheese. We want them keys. Everybody freeze on your knees, butt naked, please. Before any of you guppies get hard, nigga, rewind my part, fool, and bow down. I love the version Ice Cube.
He said it different though. He said, all I gotta do is make one phone call to have 20 killers running up on y'all.
Better. He didn't focus. Like the worst thing is when you saying some nice stuff and then you just say it like it was nice. Like make it a part of the song. Make it to where I can enjoy the record. Make the records have valleys and peaks. Not you just doing a run-on sentence over the damn music. That's where Scarface got it right. He evoked, like his inflection of voice is incredible. It's like a preacher. That's why I'm confused if he's God. Like God said, that hip hop thing looks incredible. I'm going to turn myself into a person so I can enjoy hip hop. Like that's what I feel like happened with Scarface. Because I'll never disrespect my mama, never disrespect her mama neither. I'll never turn my back on Jesus. That ain't no normal gangster rap line.
You from the Bible Belt. What you expect?
It's not even the Bible. Nobody else said that on the Bible Belt. I'll never disrespect my mama. Never disrespect her mama neither. I'll never turn my back on Jesus. That is incredible. Like, it is hard. He's like Barabbas, bro. Like, he's hard. Like, how could you make that sound hard? I'll never disrespect my mama. Never disrespect her mama neither. I'll never turn my back on Jesus.
Look what Amber said look at what Amber said in the comments, 7th Street.
How come you get to see the comments? I'm the only person can't see the comments.
He's on YouTube.
I got it open. I got it open on my phone. I'm on my computer. I'm on my Mac right now, Pete. But then I got him popping.
No, you just outthought me.
He starts
Dance
a
with
rap
circles around
song.
me.
I will never violate the code to the streets, and I will never make a promise that I know I couldn't keep.
Never make a promise. Fuck out of here, bro.
Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing?
You spent the last 45 minutes going, and then this gentleman above me here, between the two of you, Peter's been the only rational one out of the three of you.
Shout out to Deuce Manifesto.
Like,
Face
between Steele and you, y'all have defaced the lyricism of the East Coast, talking about Iggity Spiggity. He kicked it off, and then you tripled down on it.
No, that's not to say the guys that I
wouldn't. You know
I
what?
can't believe y'all, man.
What is the majority of hip hop I listen to? What region of hip hop do I listen to the most, brother?
He's an East Coast sympathizer, like most Midwest brothers.
Why you gotta be a sympathizer though, bro?
I'm not sympathizer.
Steele's trying to relive his youth at all times. So
I listen to probably the South and the East Coast probably more than anything else.
Look at how Ice Cube developed as a record maker versus just an MC. I'm getting dizzy as the world keeps spinning like a frisbee. I'm getting dizzy as the world keeps spinning like a frisbee. Gangsters and girls make the world twirl. No hesitation. I can run the nation from incarceration. 30 years is what I'm facing. But give me 7 C's and 11 G's. I'll make enough cheese to bring Wall Street to his knees. Nigga, please, I got enough guns to fill the Empire State Building full of ones. Go to school is what they tell us. But niggas in school is scared of the good fellas. We got the yayo. You can just say no. But nobody makes a fucking move until I say so. That's how it is. That's how it's going to be. Kids, when you grow up, who the fuck you want to be? Like me, the black superhero, got enough zeros to hire Bob Shapiro. Your Honor, I'm going to have to get rid of you because it ain't no trivia about my flat in West Bolivia. I blew the jury a kiss. They rather dismiss than swim with the... How you project the lyrics is what take it from being a competition into a fantastic record.
Oh boy, you're killing me. I love all of that music. I love all of those bars, but y'all not gonna do this to East Coast.
I'm not doing that. I'm telling you,
you just did. You and him.
I'm telling you the change from 80s to 90s that I really was like, oh, this is special. This is special. They became better songwriters.
Yeah, there's a totality of composition in the 90s that didn't exist.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
It was like the two. It was very, very rapper centric, very lyric centric in the 80s, and all the drums were saying. That was pretty much for 10 years.
Wow! Now you just.
I'm just saying what it is. The variability of sound in that era is
the stuff that was really dope. Y'all didn't even show love to. The stuff that was musically great records, y'all didn't even like them. Y'all would have called them like, nah, man, like Houdini with Larry Smith. They don't get enough love when we talk about the 80s. Because you know why? The music was good.
Damn glasses.
Y'all don't show love to none of the greatest songs. Y'all like, this music is too good. It need to just be a snare, a kick, and a hat.
One song,
wow, bro,
coined the whole.
What do you think about
it was a rapper's paradise. You could name a bunch of, honestly, no, for real. And I'm asking you guys, you guys know better than I do for the era. We can all laundry list 24 impactful rappers from the 80s. How many producers can you name?
I can name them all.
I can name them. There's a lot of
but again,
just because they were there. I mean, like
Howie T.
I can't name one. I'll put it that way.
That's a good point.
Like maybe
Dr. Dre's from the 80s too, so. But his production went to another level in the 90s.
I hit man Howie T.
Yeah. Howie T, Mantronic, Herbie Lovebug. You already said Herbie Lovebug.
Maul, who is the father of it all.
Paul C. Said G.
Maul is the father of it all.
Yeah,
Mantronic.
Somebody had to hit the snare drum. That's great. But at the end of the day, they're not transcendent.
That's a good point.
Y'all are like, really, bro? Didn't you say that with a straight face, Pete?
Yeah.
Hey, that's true though, Twat. If you think about it, y'all be like, if it got too much melody, y'all be like, man, them niggas is selling out. B, that motherfucker got music. I don't like that.
There was a distinct difference.
Yeah, I was like, if it got more than a hit, it can't have more than a kick, a snare drum, and a hat and some scratching.
And
if
then
it got more than that,
like,
hip hop,
like sound effect, like we get thrown in there every once in a while.
Let me ask all y'all brothers something. Do y'all, and this is totally off subject. Everybody here seen John Wick, right?
Of course.
I did.
Do you think we need a John Wick 5?
Yes.
No, we don't need anything 5.
I can watch that white man kill white people all day.
Yeah, it's a very
I haven't seen one of those
movies, man.
If you ask me personally,
5.
I wouldn't mind seeing 10 John Wicks.
There's no movie that's ever been 5.
130 people in every movie.
Do we need a Menace too?
No,
because Old Dog didn't die.
No.
That's been talked about, believe it or not, more than what you think. I don't talk about.
I don't want to see that because they're gonna mess it up.
The only sequel I'm waiting on is is New Jack, that sequel, and that's only because Malcolm wrote it. And we, quite frankly, as a team,
I'm worried about that. I'm worried. Every last sequel for black films has been bad, especially when they take too long. House Party.
Every last single, but 2 probably for white films has been bad. They just stopped doing that shit.
No. House Party 2 was presentable as a white film. White films got good sequels. Black film, like Coming to America, they made it. I get it. They made it PG. Amazon spent the money, so I get it. But you lost something. They did they remade House Party. It was horrible. They remade White Men Can't Jump. It was horrible. Sometimes because you're not tied to the culture.
There's a sunset period on when you can do a sequel. It's about 3 years. If you get it out 28 years later, that's not a sequel anymore.
No, but I'm gonna tell you my issue. They did a Cobra Kai on Karate Kid. It's incredible. I love it. It's just the people that be trying to write these street movies.
But the sequels to the original movie sucked.
What movie did I see that just made me die? Belly 2.
House Party 2 was good. House Party
Belly 2 though, bro. Did anybody see Belly 2?
House Party wasn't good. Coming to America 2, it wasn't terrible. It just was
that shit was horrible. Stop playing, bro.
It wasn't
highly anticlimactic.
That shit was trash.
Remake Space Jam, that was bad. It took a left turn.
Space Jam 1 wasn't good. You don't remake a movie that sucks the first time.
1 being the greatest, I agree. The remake of House Party was horrible.
Man.
But again, that's because a lot of people write stuff, they don't understand culture. Like people didn't understand what made White Men Can't Jump great. It was the culture of it all. Like you can't play with culture. You can't mix a bunch of cultures together. That was my issue with Drake in the thought of him being a hip hop artist. Because nobody in hip hop that knows better would have put a low rider under the Bay Bridge. That's different cultures. I get it. They're all based in California, but they are completely different cultures.
Right.
And you gotta care about that. They don't even mix. But if you don't, and this is what's happening with these films, and this is my fear when they make these cultural films. If you're not abreast to what's happening to older men when they grow up in street urban culture in Los Angeles or gangbanging, you should not be writing a film because it's not going to make sense at that level. You have to know what happens to somebody that was 23, like an old dog in 1994 or 93, and then where he would be at this point at 50-some years old. Most people don't know that. And to me, even in hip hop, with the 90s rappers, like a lot of 90s guys that's putting out albums now, they just need help from people that know where the lifestyle is at in the streets for people that old. Like gangsters don't all die. Like my older homies own trucks. They build Harley motorcycles. They hang out on a bike set. There's an evolution to where gangsters were at then to now that would make sense if you made the film.
I'm going to come up with a hip hop compilation album of a bunch of rappers in the 90s. I'm going to call it White Linen. It's going to be great.
Why would it be called White Linen?
Because all them old timers be rocking those white linens and all that shit on Sundays every weekend of the year.
Some of the older homies start going to jazz fest. So you can write. There's an evolution of street urban culture. Like people don't just die off and stop being from a gang. Like the weirdest thing in the world is when people be like, "You're 44 and you're still from a gang." This shit don't wear off. It ain't makeup. I don't wipe it off. This is 7th Street forever. forever. It don't mean that I'm stealing old ladies' purses or going to shoot at some rival guys. I got a life. I got other things to do outside of that. And there's every evolution of the culture that happens. But you got a bunch of people that don't know the evolution of the culture. They don't know what happened to the dude that was 23 in 93. The dude that was born in 1970, most people don't know what happened to him as a gang member. They don't know what happened to him if he made it to 53, what he's doing now. You have to know what they're doing now. And that's what's wrong to me with a lot of the hip hop artists in the 90s making music now. They don't quite know what that person, they're just referencing their life, but you lose the edge of street urban culture. What happened to your friends that was your age coming up that's still alive? Some of them dudes still live their street urban cultural life. A lot of the older homies moved into bike sets. Some of them still be on the boulevard. Some of them got jobs. Some of them living their life. And there are real things that can be talked about. But if you don't know them culturally, you should stop trying to fuck with the culture. Simple. That's the simple thing with street urban culture. That's the thing with hip hop. Stop. You know why I still have, somebody asked me, how can I still create relevance in today's society with people talking about me? Because I'm still culturally grounded in what this is every day. I don't have to hang out with my homies every day. You don't got to be a little kid if you're from the 90s as a hip hop artist. Like right now, the East Side, shout out to the OG homies, Trady, Goldie. Trady is one of my favorite Crips of all time. Trady, for sure. As far as Crips, Trady would be in my top 5 favorite Crips of all time. Like that's how great of a trip. Like Trady probably would be top 3. Favorite. Dog would probably be 6. Favorite. It's probably going to be, barring none of my own homies. 1, it'll probably be Dale. Dale is my favorite Crip of all time. 2nd would probably be Baby Gangsta from Santana. 3rd is Trady. So they have an album coming out. Yeah. If Battle Cat is producing it and Jelly Roll is producing it, it's going to be fine because Trady is abreast of what's going on culturally in the development of a person from the lifestyle. Remember, some of these dudes from the 90s, they didn't really get to experience the lifestyle. They were successful artists at 18, 16, 17, 19 years old. They really didn't get a chance to live the lifestyle. Cube didn't get a chance to live the lifestyle. Cube wrote his first hit record at 16. Twan, 16. That's how long he been making money in this business. His first solo record came out when he was 20, and it's a platinum album. He didn't really get a chance to go live a street urban experience. Everything was always to the people still stuck in that thing that was his friends.
But it's said he been making rap money since the 10th grade.
He's not lying. And then that was different when you get to 50, where Cube is at now, 54. I think he was born in 69, so he's 54, 55 now. He's 55. So it's like he would have been disconnected per se from that cultural lifestyle for years. But there are, like, to me, people like Gangsta from Linwood, like Gangsta from the Comrades. You ever heard of the Comrades, Twan? You could take a boy out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the home, boy. Go listen to this song. It's called The Comrades. It's hella dope. Gangsta is one of those dudes who has lived this cultural experience the whole time. You know who else has lived a cultural experience the whole time? Richie Rich. My dream thing would be to get Richie Rich in the studio to write for Dre. You know who else I would get in the studio to write for? If I got a chance to, you know what, Doc? Dre, let me come executive produce an album for you. You make the music. Let me come A&R an album for you. I know what people want from you right now at your age. I know how it needs to sound. I would assemble the right people to write it. You just make the music, and I'm telling you, I know exactly who is culturally aware. I would have Richie Rich writing for Dr. Dre. I would have Gangsta from Linwood writing for Dr. Dre. There are some people that I would have write for Dr. Dre that's insane, that are so culturally relevant today, even at their grown age of 50-something, that it would make you sound like the freshest guy on the block. All the young girls will try to give you some cat. You know, girls 23, 24, like, what's up? Because you're saying the flyest things. That exists still. So it's our job to stay rooted in the culture. Like, it's our job. Even not those guys, they're successful. They got to go tour. But there is still a movement of people that is living that level of success in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
That's important, man. So again, it's No Sentence Live, the lunch hour. We about to get out of here. Click the thumbs up button before we bounce. Click the link in the description. No Sentence Podcast. Subscribe. Right now, it's a great conversation that Norm Steele started. Go down there, click the subscribe. Leave a comment over there. Thumbs up this thing right here. We back Friday at noon. I'll see y'all soon.